I've seen a lot of talk recently about third spaces in America and how they're disappearing. If you're not familiar with this term, a third space is basically a place that you can go that isn't your home or work. It's a third space that you can socialize and relax. Think public parks, cafes, local pubs, and even libraries. Places that you can hang out for an extended amount of time without feeling the pressure to spend a lot of money. These places aren't just pretty to look at, but they actually make for a better quality of life for people that live in cities like this. And speaking from experience, it makes you feel less isolated and more connected to your community.
If housing makes a city livable,
third spaces are the thing that make you actually want to live in them. But I've noticed an issue with third spaces in America that not a lot of people are talking about. I wanted to discuss today.
I've been fascinated by this concept of third spaces, and a couple years ago decided to actually start using them more myself. I never really used to. I have to kind of go out of my way to.
But I live alone and in a relatively small apartment, so I kind of crave getting out there.
Because I also work from home, I don't even really have a second space. It's all just this one space. And I know so many people are in the same boat because they either work from home or work for themselves. So that really gives us all the more need for a third space.
My main third spaces are the hot tub in my building. Even though this isn't open to the public, I actually have met and ended up chatting with a lot of my neighbors in here, so I do count it. A couple different parks I like to go to read, eat lunch, or get some work done on my laptop, and this random little co-working space area in LA that's free. The one that really seems like a quintessential third space is the park. Because I don't have a backyard, I love spending time here.
But I found it's not like a true third space where I run into people I know, like neighbors or friends.
Ideally, a third space is somewhere where you actually feel a sense of community. You might run into your neighbors or other people that you know.
If I don't prearrange hanging out with people here, I just don't really run into the same people. I don't even really see the same people here ever. Even though this would be considered a third space because it is a free public park, it kind of misses that social element. I feel like it's just a place that I end up going to be solo in nature, which is really nice too, and I actually do enjoy.
But it just doesn't hit like the third spaces in Europe. And that is because it's a hassle to get here. Because I don't live walking distance to a park and I have to drive and park, it creates this friction where I don't actually end up going that often.
It's not on the way home from work. It's not even walkable from where I live. For me to go is already kind of a hurdle. And so of course for other people to go, it also is. And that's why they just don't get used quite as much, as they're just not as convenient. It's kind of as simple as that.
And this is the issue with third spaces in America. It's not that we don't have them and they're disappearing, it's that you're not using them. Which I will say, I don't blame you because it's not convenient. But I don't really think it's because they're disappearing like everyone says, because there actually are quite a lot. In Los Angeles County, there's 158 public libraries, over 600 public parks, and obviously cafes and bars everywhere. It's not that we don't have these places, it's that we really got to go out of our way to use them.
And so we just don't use them as much. And I'm guilty of this too. I could go edit at a cafe or a library, but most of the time I'm like, ugh, driving, parking is gonna take so long, it's so annoying to do. I think I'll just stay here. And then because it's not routine for me, and it's not routine for a lot of other people, you don't get that feeling of connection when you do randomly go to a third space. In order for it to really feel like a third space, you have to go regularly, like every day. If you only go once in a while, you're not gonna get that community effect that is kind of the whole point of third spaces. But it requires not just you going regularly, but other people going regularly too. People living walking distance to a third space, having their schedules allow for it. People don't just work 9 to 5s anymore, it's an 8 to 6, and then errands and chores and appointments after. A lot of people just don't really have time to use third spaces. But I think the big thing is, it's not necessarily that third spaces are disappearing, they just aren't convenient. And so people don't end up using them regularly. And they're not really a third space if you go once a month. But it's not like this everywhere.
I noticed when I spent a month living in New York, people really use the third spaces here. Like this library was packed with people, and Central Park always has a ton of people enjoying it. But there's nothing like Europe when it comes to third places. They really do it right. You just stumble upon them. They're everywhere, these plazas and parks. At least in the major cities. I didn't have to seek it out. I just kind of walked around until I found one.
This is Luxembourg Garden, a really amazing third space in Paris. It's the middle of a Tuesday. the prime time for people to be working, and this place is busy.
Okay, granted, yes, a lot of these are tourists like myself, but I could tell there were a ton of locals there as well.
So why does this park get used so much more than parks in LA? It's basically because it's actually convenient.
These gardens are located in the middle of a dense area in Paris that is walkable to a ton of people. That means for a lot of people, it's actually just on the way home from work or a couple blocks from their apartment. And so to go is really easy. And same thing for their neighbors and friends. It's a simple spot to meet up.
The one thing I don't love about this garden though is you're not allowed to lay in the grass. And the grass looks so lush and nice for having a picnic.
Walkability is the key thing here and why Europe has such buzzing third places. It's not just the parks, which there are a ton of, but the walkability of all the cafes too.
I got my first glimpse of this lifestyle years ago when my friend and I were visiting London. She knew this group of guys that would hang out basically every day after work at this pub. They would get off the train. This pub was on their walk back, so they would meet up there basically every day and then go home. The key thing is they went there regularly because it was convenient. It was just on the walk back from work. So it was kind of the default to just stop by for a little bit every day. They didn't have to plan it. They didn't have to coordinate meeting up and driving there or Ubering there. It was just there. And I think that's the thing is in America, we have third spaces, we have parks, we have libraries, but they're just not really used in the same way because most people can't walk to them. So what do we do about this? Demo the whole city and redo it to make it more walkable?
I know that sounds so crazy, but that's actually what they did back in the day in Paris. The city used to be much more cramped, and in the mid-1800s, they decided to demolish 20,000 buildings and rebuild with wider streets, more public parks, more trees, just more third spaces and more walkability. It was very controversial at the time, displaced a lot of people. This really is what made Paris the walkable, amazing city that so many people love today.
There's one unique place in LA that is a third space like nothing else I've seen here. It would be illegal to open today, actually.
It's called the Jackson Market, and it's a neighborhood deli and little corner store in the middle of a residential street. Like really, it's just right up against a bunch of normal houses. I've never seen anything like this in this city, but it's amazing because it makes an area that otherwise wouldn't really be that walkable have this gathering place and spot that you can grab groceries that you run out of. Because it's so convenient and all the people in this neighborhood can walk to it, it is the perfect third space for them. Not to mention, it's really comfortable. It's a lush oasis back here with comfortable chairs that kind of invite you to lounge about for a few hours. Starbucks today could never. It actually feels like you're in someone's backyard, not like you're in a restaurant.
So normally this place is absolutely packed, but I got here before the lunch rush, and they also have a new no laptop policy, which I think is why it's not as busy. Every other time I've been here, it's like impossible to get a table, but it's kind of the perfect third space. It's very comfortable. You don't feel like you have to like dress up to go here.
Like these chairs are comfy. You could lounge here for hours.
It's sort of the opposite approach of what Starbucks has taken in recent years. They really used to be the go-to third space for the suburbs, but have switched that out for efficiency and uncomfortable chairs.
I love how they found chairs with the lowest possible back, so they're pretty much as uncomfortable as possible, so you want to get your coffee and get out of there.
The cool thing about the Jackson Market is not only is it a great spot for people in the neighborhood to meet up for a coffee, but it's also clutch when you run out of just that one random ingredient. It saves you the hassle of having to drive all the way to the store for just one thing, and it probably keeps a ton of cars off the road for these short little trips. But the reason this place would be illegal to open today because it's in an area that's zoned for single family houses. The only reason it exists right now is because it opened back in 1925, before this neighborhood was really a thing.
I think if the zoning allowed for more places like this, sprinkled about the city, the communities in these areas would be stronger and just a better quality of life among the people that live there.
So many neighborhoods in a lot of cities, not just LA, have absolutely nothing they could realistically walk to.
A lot of neighborhoods just look like this, a suburb, not really a city.
I'm not saying that we need to tear down entire neighborhoods and rebuild them, but I do think if the zoning allowed for just one little neighborhood cafe, corner store,
per square mile in these areas that have nothing to walk to, the quality of life would really go up for the people that live there. So third spaces, it's not that they're disappearing or they're gone, they're just not that convenient for people to use. I do think it's possible to still have a third space in America. It just takes a little more effort, a little more going out of your way to use it on a consistent basis. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. Comment down below, do you have a third space that you use regularly? Okay, that's gonna be it for this video. I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye.